Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, hello guys. Thank you for this invitation. And first, sorry for my English. I'm trying to improve this. My name is Mateus. I'm a 3D modeler, co-founder of the CO3D. So I will talk to this later. I'm trying to do a lot of things of 3D print related. So I think I'm a generalist. So I love IT and all these things when we can do on this computer.
Yeah, it's fantastic that you when we firstly heard your story of how did you start your 3D printing business, and also how did you study about DIY your printer yourself. I think it's amazing.
Okay, my first contact with 3D print was 2016.
Okay, 2016.
Yeah, in an event. A few years later, my work friend showed a 3D print part, and that's the why I'm looking to buy some print. But I prefer to building my own on my own. That's the way I will understand better. I knew the Geeetech from one guy and from the community, and he sells me a frame, just a frame, and I buy a lot of parts on AliExpress and start to build by myself.
Cool. So how long did it take for you to build your first DIY printer?
Maybe 6 months, 4 months to part deliveries, and 2 to try to understand the new world. It was very hard because I only know how to do websites and apps. Electronics are new in 3D are very new, but I tried and I asked for help a lot of friends, entering in Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, Telegram, and after the hardware and firmware finish and start the new journey on the slicers. You show my video. That's print. Yes, that's my first printer, and this is the movie that I almost the first print, but we have a little errors there. Can you see? As you can see in the bed, there are warp there because I didn't know yet about the ways to improve that. I did it in this Geeetech printer and ABS with acetone finish. So he got this move,
You made a lot of things. Yeah, I love it. Okay, we will see the comments from our friends. Okay.
Yeah, we have a few good morning or good afternoon.
Okay.
Good evening, friends.
Okay, this is in the morning in China, in Shenzhen. Okay.
Here's night here, almost midnight.
Okay, good evening.
So
Thank
we
you.
got one question for Matthews. Do you use an extra system for the enclosure for the ABS prints?
No, just very careful with a lot of details, and ABS it's very hard to print. So when you enclose your print, you will help a lot because you need the warm place to ABS not crooked, not warp, not a lot of things. So one thing you can do is nivellate good your bed. You need calibration, automatic calibration, like a BL Touch. Geeetech has a BL Touch.
ABS while printing.
Okay. I think ABS, I don't know because I need to be careful to say that because this is a very critical subject. ABS, I think ABS when you are printing and 2016, 2040 degrees, 2030 degrees, won't be toxic, it won't be poison. So when you can see the black smoke out of the ABS. Maybe this is toxic, but I can't say about that.
Can you show us some of your prints you did with your new printer? You showed us many prints in your video we just played, but we don't know which prints are printed on old Geeetech printer or on your new printer. Can you show us some of the prints you?
Yeah. Almost all the prints that I did, I needed to finish the best I can. So maybe you can compare when on Geeetech or Evo Evolution, or maybe even resin printed. Look, this is a 3D print that I did on my Geeetech, on the first 3D print that I did. You can see the stripes because I used a lot of finish.
You painted.
Thank you. This is two. You can see a little wobbly in this model because this is first. I did it before I correct the wobbly problem. This is of my Geeetech 3D print. So I think yes, this and this was for my Hypercube Evolution. So as you can see, you can see a lot of difference, because the important thing is your finish. You finish your job. You need to very good finish. ABS is cheaper.
Okay. That's a real question.
this is the almost the most part, but ABS you can use finishing with acetone,
Yeah.
and it did help a lot when you do some small parts, because you can get a little brush and brushing only the part you want to smooth. I'm start as a 3D print builder, but a few years ago I started this new world of 3D modeling. So I am a 3D modeler. I have more than 15 characters, a lot of fast parts to fix something. I did a lot of this, and I have a few projects not released yet.
Okay, so what's your favorite ones among the 15 models you designed? Can you show us maybe some from our audience also like your models?
Well, favorite thing is Hercules. I like a lot this Goku, but when I paint, I use it much gloss tint, and he now looks like wet. I don't know if you can see, but it's shine. This Goku is shine because the paint. When I painting, I'm using a lot of glass tint. So Hercules, this one here, I like it a lot because I think I did a good paint here using metal colors and textures. A good skin color, and I like a lot of this model. I'm a very fan of Hercules.
I can feel that you are really very good at painting as well.
Yeah, thank you.
How do you find inspiration to design new things? And this would be a very interesting topic.
Yes, this is very important. When you're looking for some artist, you need to know how your goal. I like 3D characters, so I have a lot of reference of this. And inside this world of characters, you need to find what style you like: realistic, likeness, gamey, cartoon. The place that I use to find our ArtStation. Go to the artist profile and see his works. You can do this on Pinterest, Behance, Instagram hashtags. So this is my reference because I do characters. But if you want to environment, or cars, planes. You need to find some artists that do that.
Okay, for the modeling models you designed, do you test them on your new printer or old printer or your currency printer for testing the models to make them or maybe easier to print, or you can adjust your design after testing?
Yeah. That's the good advantage of a modeler has a printer. Our modeler needs to have a 3D printer for test, because all the connected parts can be you can get a lot of errors in this part. So you need to test your print without sharing. Uh, when you print in the same printer and there's different slicers or different sizes, you got a different result. So when you share your model, you need to indicate the size that the print, or just send in the correct size, because when you fit the parts, you thinking that size. You can just resize or resize higher or lower, because this can interfere in the way that the model is thinking. So when I finish my model, I print, test, correct, and print again. So I need to get the good result to finish and share my model or sell.
Do you have some suggestions or tips for someone who want to learn to design the models by themselves?
Yeah, I have a few tips. Like, if you are a beginner, try to start by a concept art. If you do, I know everybody wants to imagine a thing and start modeling, but when you see a concept art, a photo, a pic, and it's easy to put on paper, because you can compare your style, your art, with the reference that you use. Other tip, you try to find your style. You need to try everything. One moment you will find some style that combine more to you. That's not required. I don't have a style, but if you find a style to you, maybe you can be the reference. um, or other things, I already said that modeling by thinking the purpose or scale. When you're modeling a fingers, see your model is too small, the fingers will not show. So you need to think about these things. This is a thing you need to learn to feedbacks, receive the feedback, and do the feedback. This is very important thing process, very important process to your learning. And again, you need to get reference. Reference is very important. uh, I think everybody has a lot of things in your mind and wants to put in paper, but when you got reference, your mind works faster. So you need to study anatomy of the thing you are doing. It's is you doing a hard surface, find inspiration. I have this EquaChef because I'm studying human anatomy. So this has helped me a lot. And if you are doing something for animal or anything, you need to do this thing. I have this. This is like a mannequin. You can put any position. This reference help to you create any poses and put this on the way you want. Just look and try to copy. This is a lot helpful too. Another thing, if you want to you want to be a modeler, you need to a pen tablet. This is a small model of Wacom, but you have anyone that better than mouse, because mouse doesn't have sensitivity and good precision like these things. Be perfectionist, but not too much. You need to do a good job, but you need to know when to finish and start a new one. We are improved every day.
Oh, by the way, which one do you use?
For this
Yeah,
software.
for sculpting, I'm using ZBrush. But when I do some silly things on pieces and with things for my house, I do Mesh Mixer, 3D Builder, or Maya. Every print has a different configuration. Every part have a different configuration, and that's why 3D print is not too easy.
Yes. In the future, for our new model, we will put some more tested models.
I think these testing models is just to show how the print works, because when you are printing any other parts, you need to do the different configuration. So
Yes.
even you send a lot of parts,
Configurations.
good parts, but when you do something customized, you need to slice it on your way.
Okay, so after testing your models for the model you like, you paint them, right? I saw that you painted many models. So do you have some tips for the beginners who would like to paint the models?
Yeah, that's not my specialty, but I can say how I do. There's a lot of different brands of tint, and I'm Brazilian and I use acrylics, but I know that Tamiya is good, good international option like Revel. So I have a few tips. Different between glossy and matte in metal. You need to be careful about that. Look, this my Goku was painting with a glossy paint, so he looks like a wet. But my Hercules was a matte, a flat tint. You can see, as you can see on the shield, I used the metal colors, and this is had a lot of different results. Another tip, a good tip is you need to do a good finish your print, sanding, mask. How better your finish, easy paint is. If you're using ABS, you can use a brush and try to just brushing the piece with acetone, and you got a smooth. Don't be hurry, because hurry don't help a lot. You need to be careful with details, and you can use some techniques to do shadows or bright using dry brush or if airbrush if you have. But if you look for the sideshow painting on YouTube, you see the masters show how to paint good.
There's another very interesting topic we would like to mention is also about your own business in 3D making, like your story of starting a business in 3D making. And I think it's quite interesting because nowadays many people are just thinking about to start a business in 3D making and printing, and they don't know how and they don't know what to do. And maybe from this perspective, your own experience, you can share something regarding how did you get into the 3D printing, and also currently your challenges and the things. You can share something about your project as well.
All right, thank you. So CO3D has almost 1 year, but was released last month. It's a very complex business logic, so a lot of time was spent planning, testing, understand what the people wants. So before creating CO3D, I was talking to my friend Victor about 3D print market. So we see there is a problem. The most part of good 3D print models are too expensive. Or when you have an idea, you cannot find a modeler to do to do that for you. So I see a lot of social media groups that people join for buy some model and split the value, but it's a lot of mess. I don't know who paid yet, or I don't have warranty that the modeler will send a good model. Sometimes the modeler join one group and that the bakers promise to buy, but when the model's finish and needs to real pay, the buyers leave the group without paying. So all these things, we did a CO3D, a website. You can do all these things, but organized with PayPal Gateway. If you just want a model, you can find there. In the marketplace, you pay and receive now, like another marketplace that you know. If you're not hurry, you can find a campaign, pay less, and wait a few days to finish. Any problem that with this campaign, your money backs to you. If you do not find a model that you like, you can add a project as a requested model to find a modeler. And if you are a modeler, you will see a request on the website, like the bakers did before. You can be the modeler of anyone. So just send a proposal, and the owner of this model will agree or not. If it's positive case, the campaign starts. Bakers can buy, and just when finish the collection, the modeler starts to modeling. The systems control every payment. If you do not like the model, we have a mediation, votation, and another features. As a modeler, you can just add a model to the marketplace or start a campaign on your own. We are open to helping 3D markets not only make money. We have a lowest fees just to pay the gateways charge, servers, and divulgation. And that's the point. We need the people believes in CO3D. We have a very serious company. If you want to help, please share the website, sell your models, buy some models. I'm here to help, and I hope the Geeetech share my contacts. You can call me, talk. I will help you anything. And if you have any doubt now, I can answer here. It's a lot of pages and you can sell your models, but that's the problem that I say, because you need to control what you receive, what you need to receive. When you have a problem, you need to return the payment. So PayPal makes charge all the transactions. If you pay, you lost some part of your money.
Buy and sell, share to share their designs, and others can share the payment.
Yeah, the idea is like a lot of people can like buy the same one STL, and then everyone can get a very low price and to buy the thing.
You can buy a collective buy, so you will split all the money with another buyers. So that's why the price is low.
Okay, so this is the website of Matthew, www.co3d.art.
Okay, so anyone is interested, you can check it out and find it, maybe find something that might interest you.
Yes, you can start your business from here if you want to start your own business. For your business, for this website or for this project, what's the biggest challenge for you?
The biggest challenge is we need to share more, to show not our work, because we have a better fees, better charge, lowest price of a lot of another websites that marketplace or from STL. But we need to divulgate and show this website. This is the hard part. And
Advertisement.
yes, we try.
You know, if you want your business to expand or explode and let more people to know you, there are, like Alexander said, there are also other marketplace platforms doing the 3D modeling business. So what's your strength? What's your advantage compared to other market platforms?
The CO3D, the business is different because all the marketplace just sell our model you buy and get now, but you pay a price for that because you need to pay more expensive. And the biggest difference, and that's in other websites you can ask for a model, you can find a model, you just buy, you can see there. You in CO3D you can just, if you don't find, you can ask for someone do for you. So that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, I think that's it's a great way to check more STL files in different websites, and also always there's something new come out. Yeah. So if anyone is looking for STL file, you can check the co3d.art.com to see if there's anything that matches your interest.
We'll doing this in the CO3D. Stay there, register, and I will share. Sometimes we'll put some free models there too. You can download there. So stay there to see.
And I think today's topic is very comprehensive, like starting from how Master studied his 3D printing, and also his expertise in doing the module, and also his interest in doing painting, and also lastly about his entrepreneurship in studying the 3D printing business himself into the marketplace of selling and buy the ST file in the new website. I think this is a very interesting story that we hear from the 3D printing industry, and really thank you for this wonderful sharing, and a lot of ideas and a lot of contents to learn from.
Thank you, Master.
Yeah.
Thank you too for the invitations, and sorry, my English sometimes I'm stuck, sometimes I have a little.
Say something in Portuguese, since you are like it's some way to say goodbye or say something in Portuguese about your feeling.
And thank you for our audience to join us to hear our live show.
Yeah.
Thank you too, and em português, obrigado por tudo e que a gente encontre mais para frente novamente.
Okay, I totally don't understand. Thank you. Bye bye. See you next week.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.